wake up, go to work, put on 8 hours, then go back home, and then do what?
Just delegate it. If you're a leader, salesperson, whoever, delegate what you can.
Work to earn the money to pay the bills and then go in this never-ending cycle.
If I feel good and lay my head on the pillow, that's work-life balance because I feel good about what I did that day.
It's okay to run the business, to have the business and do all of the things, but then still show up and have this time to spend with your family.
Make sure you're spending time with doing and spending time with people that you love.
Okay, hello, and welcome everyone to the Escape the Matrix podcast. I'm your host, Ella Rivkin, and today we have entered not just the regular space, it's the special space where we actually question absolutely everything. We will question what we were told when we were growing up and the way we're living. And today it's not just about who we are, it's to explore who we truly are. And the podcast is about letting go of what doesn't feel right, breaking all patterns and choosing a life that tells who we feel like and who we really are. So today we talk to the real people who said no to what was the expected and decided to create something special and to put themselves on their own path. So today I have a very, very special guest, a woman who has walked the path on her own unique way and who is now holds a space for others to do the same. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Becca Goldsberry, an elite sales and leadership coach. Welcome, Becky. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Happy to be on. Excited to be with you.
Yes, and I'm so excited to have you here, and I cannot wait to hear all this, everything that you have to share with us. I know that you have actually navigated your own path. You went through this, your own metrics, and going from the secure career into counseling with the uncertainty into the world, and now doing this coaching and the sales. So I know it was very, very challenging path. So if you can just share with me what was this moment where you felt, okay, enough is enough, and I want to come out of that matrix?
You know, and that's a phenomenal question. And I think there's lots of different pieces in my life that culminated, into a new path. So I think maybe the catalyst, the thing that kind of kicked me out of my comfort zone, I was working with a company in Bloomington, Indiana, and they wanted to move that company to the headquarters in Kansas City. Well, that completely made me realize, what in the world am I going to do? I was going to be a financial advisor. I was hired, was taking, all of the tests, and then a friend connected with me on LinkedIn in 2012. Who was on LinkedIn in 2012? There were not very many people on LinkedIn in 2012 and really using it. And so my friend was sharing with me this opportunity with Southwestern Consulting to be a coach. And I had to really do a gut check at that point, thinking, okay, am I ready to take on a role as a coach for other people in sales and business owners, executives, CEOs? So that's one piece. And then I had little things that happen in life too, growing up, that kind of caused, my tough skin, as some people call it, my gritty grace, right? From my keynote that you and I were part of with Women Thrive. So I think the big catalyst was becoming a coach and saying, you know what? No, I can do this. I can help others grow because I went through the same things, but now with Southwestern Coaching and everything that we do, I've got the tools, I've got the knowledge from what we share with our clients to really make an impact. So that's kind of the catalyst, I guess.
Wow. Yeah, this is so beautiful. Yeah. And me too. I remember I went through the same challenges myself too. And then I realized, okay, I want to help more people. And one of the ways is just to share, obviously, to share through your own experiences. And then when you actually want to do this and you have this vision, but then what happens is that personally with me is that I started sharing this with others, and then not everyone understands this because we taught to do certain things certain ways, and whenever we want to go against that current, then you start hearing things, oh, you know what, that's not possible, or like, why are you doing this? And then especially in your case too, you had like a very solid career. I remember me myself, my friends, everyone would tell me like, why would you wanna destroy everything that you had built and try to do something unknown? And then back then, like now, it's more and more people talk about coaching, but I'm pretty sure with you it's probably the same. It's like it was not that very popular, I would say, as it is right now.
Yeah, no, in the Midwest. So when I started with Southwestern Consulting, December of 2012, here in the Midwest, in the Indianapolis, Indiana market, the Louisville, Kentucky market, Cincinnati, Ohio, in the Midwest, people are like, coaching? Why would I need somebody to tell me how to run my business? And I'm thinking, that's not what a coach really does, right? They had a perception, and people still do, of like what a coach is. They don't understand that a coach, yes, we help you be accountable for doing the things that you say you want to do and need to do to grow your business. We're also there as your cheerleader, your confidant, the person to help you think outside the box, to listen, to give feedback if you ask for it, right? But there's so many things that a coach is, but some people just think of it as, oh, I don't need a coach. I don't need somebody to tell me what I need to do. I'm fine. I'm the top producer. And I'm like, no, the real top producers, they all have coaches, really. If you think about it, if you have the best of the best, they all have coaches.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So now going back to where you used to be, and our podcast is called Escape the Matrix. So I remember I realized that, I started paying more and more attention and reflecting myself, and I realized that I just keep going in the same cycles. So what was it for you? What was that moment, and what actually, like, what did this metrics look like in your own life? uh, before whatever you're doing right now?
Yeah. So I think for me, always growing up, um, people who know my story from a little girl, up until, you know, even now, we still have Mr. Mediocrity. Sometimes it's still thinking I'm not enough. And I think most people can relate. Oh, I'm not enough. But yeah, we really are. So, and it's believing in ourselves and growing. So for me, my matrix was always thinking, oh, I'm not enough. I've got to be the best at this, this, and this to prove I'm enough and I'm good enough. So for me, that was my matrix. And that happened literally from, first grade all the way up, into adulthood. And it's something that is always in the loop in the back of my mind. But I have to overcome that. And I do that with like positive affirmations and working on, mindset and all of those great things. Confidence anchors, the whole nine yards.
Yeah, yeah, and I actually felt exactly the same way. It's probably, maybe again, it's just that's how the society impacts us, right? The way that we were raised with what were told to us by our parents. And then it's the school, the society is do more, be more, achieve more.
Yeah.
And then eventually you just get to this feeling that, okay, like whatever you do, it's constantly not enough. Yeah, and I love how you mentioned that. So you did actually mention that so then you started doing positive affirmations. So then now, since we're talking about that, like, what does that routine looks like for you, this day-to-day routine right now that helps you right now to go on and to feel enough?
Yes, great question. So for me, and something we always share, like with our coaching clients, and we work on with our coaching clients, is really having a strong morning routine. And in my morning routine, and it varies because during the school year, I have to take my son to school. So let's be real. We all live real lives. And so mine is taking my son to school and picking him up every day from school. So my morning routine, so when I wake up, I get ready for the day, I get my son ready and we hop in the car. in the car on the way to school. I'm a Christian. And so my son and I, we do prayers in the morning to school. But on the way back, after I drop him off, is when I do my positive affirmations. So I have a list of positive affirmations that I have had since I've been with Southwestern Consulting. And so literally it's things I say out loud, to rewrite that DCR portion of our brain, because our brain was made to keep us safe, not to think outside the box and not to go and be, hitting goals and all these things. Our brain was made to be safe. So my positive affirmations always helps me make sure that no, I can do anything I put my mind to. If I need to accomplish this, it's my daily affirmations I say every day on the way back, to the house before I start work, to reprogram all the negative stinking thinking that happens on a daily basis. Because let's face it, we would be amazed what we tell ourselves all day long if we could record it. So, most people are like, oh no, I don't have negative thinking, but I bet you do. And you're just not realizing it, but you're still believing, in those things that it's telling you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I love how you mentioned that. Yeah, our brain is designed us to keep us safe, and it's we're always running in this mode where survival mode. So it's natural, yeah. And the one way to escape that is positive affirmations. I practice myself. I meditate every day and practice yoga. So yeah, it's to have this powerful morning routine. Yeah.
Absolutely. And for some people, it may not be affirmations, it may be meditation. I do, devotions, daily devotions as well. And so it looks different for everybody. But as long as you can rewrite that negative self talk that's actually in your brain, that's where we can have absolute tremendous growth without hindrance from ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. And well, then you mentioned that you have a son, and as a wife, and a mother, and also a business leader, a business owner. So that I'm sure comes with lots of challenges.
You know, it's just making sure I have a really good schedule. One of the things I love working on with my clients is let's be realistic with our calendar. Let's be realistic with our schedule. We've got to make time to do the family life, our hobbies, the things we want to do in, the community. But yeah, at least have to plan it out. If you're not planning out your week in advance, you're not going to be able to do all the things that you want to. And then you're going to frustrate yourself, or you're going to be so rushed. You're stressed out. I don't want to do that. So I find when I plan my weeks out, I can put everything where I need to be and still have time with my family, with serving the Junior League of Indianapolis, serving on, the board at church, the different things that I, cherish and want to be a part of. You just got to plan it out.
Yeah, I love that. Wow, these are some golden nuggets, friends. Make sure that you stick around. The most powerful insight are coming up. Stay tuned. Thank you, Becky. Thank you for sharing. So let's talk a little bit more about the planning, because I do hear this all the time. In fact, you know what? I was speaking to one of my friends yesterday, and it's natural for us, and especially for women, having so many responsibility and tasks, taking care of the kids, of the family, ourselves. So let me ask you a little bit more about the planning. Like how, like, if you can just share, I'm sure that our viewers would definitely love to learn a little bit more about whatever it can help them with. So, like, do you plan daily, weekly? Like, how do you keep your schedule?
So mine is weekly. So, and I'll share some golden nuggets with you guys that we share with our coaching clients, but literally we plan it out weekly. I find it most helpful because a lot of times we put everything into like our Outlook or our Google Calendar, right? Okay. What happens when the little notification comes up? What do? We hit dismiss, right? Okay. when we don't want to do something and we hit dismiss, 99% of the time, we don't actually do the thing we just dismissed on our calendar. So, what we have learned, if you literally plan it out, I like to take it in Microsoft Excel spreadsheet and I have this template for an entire week. And I literally plan it out from the time I go to bed or wake up in the morning to the time I go to bed, exactly what I need to accomplish that day. So I take kind of like that Stephen Covey, the rocks, pebbles, sand analogy, and I put all of my rocks, right? And the rocks are the most important things that I either have appointments for or things that drive my business that I need to do to grow my business. Then I fill it in with the pebbles, the not so important things, and then the sand, right? And I actually schedule out, and I like the time block. I like to do like minded activities. So I'm creating momentum because I don't want to make some calls and then check some emails. And then I go back to making some calls again. And then I've got an appointment and then I make some more calls. You don't gain momentum when you do that. So, in my calendar, the first and third weeks of the month are the weeks I do my coaching with my clients. And there's days that are literally from 8 to 5 that are back-to-back coaching calls, right? Because I'm gaining momentum. Yeah. The other days are used for prospecting, doing workshops, training, speaking, and networking and doing those things. But I time block it just so I'm gaining momentum. So you have to plan it out exactly. And in my calendar, I put when I need to check some emails or if I need some CEO time where I need to work on some non-income producing activities, but they still need to get done. I put that in my calendar. I plan that out. I plan date nights with my husband. We just had a date night last night. So I put date night in the calendar. I put my dates with my son in the calendar. So that and I have, little dates that we go do. I put time in my calendar to go to church, to do my devotions, to do my morning routines when I'm waking up. I've got friends coming over, everything is in my calendar. So in that Excel spreadsheet, I create it every week. I print off 2 copies, one to keep by my desk because that keeps me on task. And the other copy goes on my refrigerator. So my husband knows exactly what is going on. The weeks I don't put it on my calendar, or on the refrigerator, he's like, what's happening this week? I don't know what's going on. So I have trained my husband to look at the calendar so he knows where we need to be, especially with Thad. Right now he's in karate and he does baseball. So to keep the family going, everybody's got to know where they got to go. So that's some of the things I do. So do your calendar every week. I like to do mine Sundays for the week ahead. Time block, you guys. Do the like-minded activities together to gain momentum and put everything on this calendar and share it with your family. Put it on the refrigerator and print a copy. Keep it by your desk. If you can do that, you're going to keep yourself in check for the most part. Can we follow it 100% every week? Nope. But at least we know what we need to be doing and we can go back to the things that maybe we didn't have time for and make sure we get those done.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. And wow, we're so similar. I do absolutely exactly the same things. And I love how you shared that you actually print out and have a physical copy. And me too. I guess it's still like probably like that old fashioned way, and I love it visually. Like you said, you put it in the refrigerator. So me too. I need to see it. I love having all of this calendar in the computer, but I actually need to have my physical paper, and then I need to see it visually. So I do absolutely exactly the same thing. And I also like how you mentioned about scheduling the blocks, the time to spend with your kids, with your spouse. And I always say this to my friends, everyone too. So like if you want this to happen, then just put it on the schedule. Just let's
right.
make it happen. Write it down, outline the time, because otherwise it's just all wishful thinking. It's interesting. I'm actually traveling next week to New York, And this is where I used to live for 30 years. And since I'm going there, so typically what I do is I want to visit and see all my friends, my family. And then I started calling everyone. So started filling up my calendar. And then I I already outlined like the days, the time, who I want to see, when I want to see, what time, from this time, that time. And then some of the with the clients, it's easy because like they're already used to the appointments, right? But then I call my friends and it's like, oh, you know what? When you come, just let me know and we'll figure out something. No, it doesn't work like that, because if we're not going to block this time right now, it will never happen.
That's right. That is exactly that. I do the same thing. I went on a vacation with some of our friends, and we went down to the Florida Keys. And I have a colleague and a good friend who lives in Key West. And I told her, I was like, "Hey, when are you available? When are you home that week? And I will plan it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to do lunch with her because we didn't plan it out, right?" So I'm like you. If it's not on the calendar, it's likely not going to get done.
Yeah, absolutely. So for our viewers, friends, whoever is watching, if you want to make sure that the things are done, then Becky suggests that put it on the calendar, block the time. And listen, and like you said, Becky, even if it's, sometimes, we put it on the calendar, it doesn't happen, that's fine. We can reschedule, but at least we already set an intention. At least we already made an arrangement. And typically, majority of the time it does happen. Some of the times, okay, you can just reschedule it. But
That's right.
most of the time, it will happen. I love that. Thank you so much. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Now that we're talking all about this and all these things, these great things that happening in your life, what was it like before? Were you always like that?
You know, it depends on who you ask. If you ask my mom and dad, they would definitely say, yes, Becca was always, very focused. And if she wanted to do something, I was going to do it. Right. Like that. I've always been that way. I've always been the outgoing one as well. So for me, this is just natural. Like, and when I started learning some of the things like from Southwestern, it just made my life easier. I'm like, "Oh, I got to share this with everybody because everybody needs to be doing all these things, right?" So yeah, so for me, I've always been that way, very driven, focused. Now the funny part is, I was always before I was started working with Southwestern, and I was always a person 5 or 10 minutes late to everything. My family would always say, okay, Becca's going to be 5 or 10 minutes late. But the moment I started working with Southwestern, started doing my weekly calendar, man, I am always on time. I don't like to be late. So like it has literally transformed how I work and roll in life.
Yeah, wow. Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Okay. So, so then let me ask you then, so you're working as a coach, as a leader. If you can just share some stories maybe of your clients, like what are some of like the biggest challenges that you see, similar challenges that they go through?
And it all depends. So I've got some clients who are leaders and they manage teams. And then I have some clients who are just top producers in their office. I would say for top producers, it's always time management. A lot of times, they know what they need to do and, how to bring in sales, and their production's typically pretty good. But the biggest hurdle a lot of time is, how do I do all the things I need to do and not be stressed out? So a lot of times it really does come back to time management, especially for like top producers. Um, the art of delegation, I think, is big. And for people to be able to delegate to their assistants, because a lot of top producers and a lot of salespeople, they do have assistants or people in the office that they can delegate to. They just don't know how to do it efficiently. So they're not frustrated. They're like, I don't want to delegate this because it only takes me 5 minutes to do this one task. But if you do that task like every day, a couple times a day, and if you're not delegating it out, you are wasting so much time if you calculate it through the year. So there's always that, 30X rule that they always talk about is, train your assistants to do those tasks, train them well, and you'll have a great ROTI, right? The return on time invested. You'll get that back, at least 700%, in folds. So delegate, people. If you have the ability to delegate the non-income producing stuff, the minute task, just delegate it. If you're a leader, salesperson, whoever, delegate what you can.
Yeah.
Delegate going to the grocery store. As a mom, I don't have time to walk an hour or two in the grocery store. So I love my Kroger app where I can just pick the things I need. Actually, it saves me money too. Pick the things I need and have it delivered. Like save yourself a couple hours a week, by getting just simple things like that, right?
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that because me too. I started doing that. I mean, like before, I used to be just probably like many business owners you're working with and with those that are listening, trying to do everything myself. And being a business owner, like you mentioned, you're thinking, okay, you know what? It's much easier to do it myself because by the time I explain to someone else, they're not gonna get it, and then I have to explain it over, and then of course I'll do it better. That's what I was thinking. And then I learned, no, you know what? It's all about leveraging your time. And one of the activities I love to do myself too, and I do this very often, and then with my clients and my team, is the time tracker. So whenever someone says, okay, I don't have time, so what I do is I sit down, okay, let me write down everything that all the activities I do day on day basis, how much time I spend on it. And I love how you mentioned, okay, is this income producing activity or not? And to what you were saying about the shopping and everything, at some point I remember I used to, as a woman, like I used to cook, clean, take my kids to the practices, dry them, and then I realized, okay, I'm not I'm not a cook, I'm not a cleaning lady, I'm not an Uber driver. And a lot of the times we're thinking that we're actually saving money by not paying someone else but doing it ourselves, but then in reality we're not. Because if you paying your cleaning lady, even like you're paying $25, $35 an hour, $15 an hour, whatever, depending where you live, but then you can charge for your time like $200, $300 per hour. So are you actually saving money or you're losing money?
Exactly. And that's what I do the same thing with my coaching clients too. We have them do like the time awareness logs, like, what are you doing? Like, write down what you're doing and what are you spending your time in doing? And then we actually have them like, okay, what is this actually costing you? Especially for those who don't go into the office every day, that might work from home. What are you doing that you don't realize it's sucking your time and, costing you income? And cleaning can be one. I've had so many clients when we talk about delegating where they're like, you know what? You're right. It's cheaper to actually pay somebody to come in and clean. To have our groceries delivered, have somebody mow our lawn, because I can make up more in income than I can in having somebody else do those things for me. So they actually increase their income. They're less stressed because they don't have to do all those tedious things. And it just makes sense for a lot of people. So
Yeah.
you guys out there, try to figure out, where can you delegate and, offload some of these things, spend more time in your business or focus a little more for an extra hour or two and see if you can grow your business more. Then do some laundry and clean your house and, scrub your toilets and all those things, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that. And and even a little bit more to expand on that, so, saving time and money. There's actually another thing that I realized because me too, I order through Instacart. Like I don't even go. I don't remember when was the last time when I went shopping. So it's interesting. I noticed actually once, like when you go shop, and then you start just when you're physically there, you just start buying things that you don't even need. But whenever you're actually shopping online, okay, you just click all the things that you need. And another thing I noticed that we just keep reordering the same things. So then at the end of the day, it even becomes cheaper.
It is. It really is. I have literally compared, my grocery bills of when I have it delivered to when I'm in the store. When I'm in the store, I'm literally paying probably $100 more because I'm like, oh well, this is new and that can go in the cart. Oh, and I haven't seen this and this, and And I'm like, what am I buying all this for too? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, yep, I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah. I love that. Love that. So for those of you friends that are watching us, stay tuned for the final moments where Becky will share something that could change the way you see your own journey. And well, listen, being a woman in the business and the leader and with everything that we have to take care of, then let me ask you this. What do you think were like some of the biggest lie as a woman we were taught?
Hmm. A woman can't do a good a job as a man can do. I think that's the biggest lie women believe, is that we can't do it as well as a guy can do it.
Yeah.
That's the number one. Or and another one, because I was born in 78, so I'm in, the, Gen X generation, and proud to be. And it was always taught to us too that you can either have a career or you can be a home and a mom. Which one do you want? You can't have both.
Yeah.
That's another misconception.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that I can have both. Like, if I need to take off at 3 o'clock to do things with that, guess what? I can take off at 3 o'clock to do things with that. And that's okay. I don't feel guilty about it. So, and I think a lot of women have always felt guilty of being a working mom, right? And so, ladies, it's okay. Guys, there's a lot of guys out there who are working dads. I mean, so it's okay to be a professional and to be a parent and a spouse and a loved one. Make time to do both. There's enough time in the day to do both.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm absolutely with you on that, because I used to feel exactly the same way, having two daughters and juggling between the business and being a mom. And then, yeah, you cannot have both. You have to give up one in order to have another. And then the guilt. Oh my God, that guilt feeling. But you know what? Actually, I'll tell you that. Well, once I figured out and was able to manage that, I actually even did an experiment, because I did have that guilt feeling inside of me for a very, very long time. And I remember, like, during COVID, I started, and obviously that was a perfect time. We had all the time during the COVID. I started spending more and more time with my daughter. And then at some point I realized, actually, you know what? Like, she doesn't need me 24 hours a day to be there with her. And then when I went through this experience, I realized, okay, like, yeah, you can just balance that, as long as you block the time, the quality time to spend with your loved ones, and then you do this consistently, then it's okay to run the business, to have the business and do all of the things, but then still show up and have this time to spend with your family.
Absolutely. Because we can do both,
We can
right?
do both. Yeah. Yeah,
We can do both.
absolutely. Yeah. We don't need to give up one in order the other. And yeah, we can absolutely do both. I love that. Wow, this is phenomenal. So now that we're on this topic, uh some women, I mean, not just the women, the men as well. So we all experience this the self-confidence, the doubt, and then especially in the business. So what was like this any certain difficult moments that you actually went through, and what helped you to overcome this?
I think one of the first things that ever happened to me when I first started my career with Southwestern Consulting as a coach, I had a friend look at me and they're like, "You're really going to be a coach?" And I said, "Yes." And they're like, "Why?" Right? And so I really had to develop, like, why did I want to be a coach, and really develop, okay, what's my mission and my purpose and my passion, and being a coach. And so that right there made me think, okay, if I have friends who are asking me why I want to help others, maybe I should make sure I'm developing, my mission and my purpose, and make sure that it is rock solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think, and everybody's like, I think it's important to have a personal mission and a mission statement or a vision statement or both, even
Yeah.
maybe an ownership statement,
Yeah.
if you want to do that. So I think that was one of the things is realizing, okay, if my friends were questioning it, then I really need to make sure I'm on point.
Yeah.
And so I'll share my mission statement or my purpose statement if you want.
Yeah. I love to. Yes, I would love to hear that.
So my purpose statement is I use my gifts and talents from God to be a catalyst, helping others live out their God given potential in life, helping them to develop grit, resilience, and grace, empowering others to realize that they are enough and they have everything they need to be the best version of themselves.
Oh, love.
So that's why I do what I do.
I love that. To be the best version of themselves and they have everything that they need. And the key word is enough. I love that. I love that. So then talking about this, you have this very strong mission and the vision, and then talking about enough. But as you mentioned, there's we'll go through this day-to-day challenges. There's so much noise out there. Uh, what helps you to navigate and still keep you on focus on your mission whenever something triggers?
It's my vision board. So literally, if I'm looking at the computer right here to my right is my vision board.
Mhm.
And every year, every January, actually every December, I update. So if I accomplish something on my vision board, I put a new picture of the next thing I want to accomplish. And so over the last 13 years that I've been with Southwestern, I've got my vision board has pictures over pictures of things that I've accomplished. But I think if you got a purpose and you got a mission, make it something you can see. And a vision board helps me do that. And in front of me, behind my computer, if you would look in my office, you'll see I have like daily affirmations and I've got my goals up there. So literally, I am surrounded in my office by everything I need to make sure I'm staying focused, helping other people grow their business, grow professionally, personally, and live out their God-given talents.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So then it's very important to have the mission and the vision. It's very important to have the vision board to remind you. And in fact, yeah, me too. I have them everywhere. I actually have it in my office as well on the wall. I have on the wall when I wake up. I have it in my bathroom. So to remind me all of this. And yeah, and it's encouraging to hear this from you and from those business owners that are successful that practice this the same rituals that helping us. So that's amazing. So for those of you who not practicing this yet, so this is something that maybe to start doing this.
Absolutely. And if you need, there are all kinds of resources online that talk about how to do a vision board. I've had friends and I've done it myself where we've had vision board parties or invite someone from Southwestern to come in and help you guys work on, creeds and vision statements, mission statements, for you, your company, because it's important. Because without it, without vision, we perish, right? So yeah, it's just super important.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So then, thank you so much for sharing this. I absolutely love this. Wow, this is amazing. Everything that you're sharing, this is like, yeah, some golden nuggets. So then, how do you stay still on track with everything? Like, do you go to seminars? Like, what do you do for your personal development? You did mention about to be best version of yourself. So what do you do to keep a best version of yourself?
So I do a couple things. One, I have my very own coach. So I have my own executive level coach that I've had for years. So I have my own coach. See, even coaches need coaches,
Yeah,
right?
coaches
So
need coaches. Yeah.
coaches. So I have my own coach. Every month, I read at least one book for me professionally. And then I love to do conferences. I like to go to seminars, whether it's virtually in person. I always try to do one or two a year. And then this past year, I was certified with ICF, International Coaching Federation, or sorry, ICF. So I've, certified through ICF this year. So I'm always looking ways just to be a better coach, be a better sales professional, always looking to sharpen my own skills. Because if you're not sharpening your tools, and I don't care if you are a veteran and you've been in your industry for 25, 30, 35, 40 years, if you're not doing something every day to always constantly be better, being stagnant doesn't help anybody. You're not serving your clients the best you can be if you're not being better at what you do. So I'm always trying to find different ways. I like to network. I like to have coffees with referral partners and just learning from people. I like to talk with CEOs and business, think tanks and pick their brains about what's worked for them. So I'm always trying to learn everywhere I can.
Yeah, I love that. And talking about the networking, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because if you can be a resource for others, they're going to come to you because you have that giver's gain philosophy.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. So then let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on, you hear this a lot, and I think, I don't know, this is like a whole trend right now about work-life balance. What does it mean for you, work-life balance?
Okay. So I think there's some misconceptions. The first misconceptions is there is no such thing as multitasking. I think it was Oprah who said it in the 80s that you can multitask. Okay, you really can't. You can really only focus on one thing at a time and do it well. So that's where time management comes into play. So multitasking, there is none of that. And if there was balance, that means you eat 8 hours a day, you sleep 8 hours a day, you work 8 hours a day. Okay, there's no such thing as balance. So work-life balance, to me, my definition for my life at least, work-life balance is when I lay my head down on my pillow at night, I feel amazing about the work I was able to accomplish and the time I was able to spend with my husband, Michael, my son, Thad, and if I happen to be doing any of the charity work and stuff that I do. If I feel good and lay my head on the pillow, that's work-life balance because I feel good about what I did that day.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love to work too, and my mom always tells me, like, even when it's like a weekend and I'm sitting and working, she's like, "You working again? Why are you working so much?" But it's actually interesting. So recently, I looked up. Actually, I was introduced to that. I never even looked at it. So the definition of the work. So the definition of the work is a mental or physical act to achieve a purpose or result. So, and then, going back to our mission, to the purpose, right, to the life purpose, that's what it is. But, and the way I talk about it and the way now I see it, it's not, work where you have to, work to earn the money to pay the bills and then go in this not never ending cycle. But it's this life purpose. I mean, there's nothing wrong with working if there is actually the purpose that you're after.
And everybody's got a different season that they are in their life.
Yeah.
I know when I first started as a coach with Southwestern in, 2012, 2013, my first couple of years, I wasn't married at the time. I didn't have, Thad. And so I was single. And guess what? I worked a lot. I worked a lot of 10, 12-hour days, building my business. And that was okay. Then I got married, to Michael in 2015. And then, of course, there was a little shift, right? And so I didn't maybe work 10, 12-hour days. So maybe I worked, 9 or 10 because my husband has late hours because of his work too. And then now with that, well, guess what? You do another shift. And it's okay to be able to pivot in life. And I think that's where a lot of people get hung up is that they think, oh, you got to work 8 to 5 or 8 to 6. And I've got to work, at night, in the evenings. Make life work for you. If you're a mortgage person or you work in real estate and you need to work in the evenings because that's when your clients are calling you, okay. but make sure you take some time during the day when the phones are quiet to focus on you, your family, the things that you need to get done. So make some shifts. Everybody's calendars, everybody's life is different. Do you,
Yeah,
and be happy. Don't just stress about it and say like you have to conform how everybody else thinks you need to do business. You don't have.
exactly. Yeah. Oh my God. I love that. And the key words that I just loved how you mentioned, make life work for you. Yeah, and I think this is the key. It's to make the life work for you. It's not just, following this conventional wisdom. And this is what this whole podcast is all about, is escaping the matrix where we were actually taught to follow the conventional wisdom. Wake up, go to work, put on 8 hours, then go back home and then do what?
You know, and I have clients who they go to work, 8 to 5, they do some dinner, and guess what? They're back to work, from 8 to 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Are they, and sometimes things aren't great at home because they're not spending time with their family. So who really benefits when that happens?
Yeah.
So to me, that's when I know, okay, as a coach, we need to adjust some things. If you're working, 3, 4 hours at night, something's going on. Your systems, your processes, what you're spending your time on during the day, something's got to give, because it's not worth it to hurt your family, to hurt your loved ones, to hurt your peace of mind, your health, the stress in your life. It's not worth it. So let's figure out how you can live a life you absolutely love. And that's one of the things that I'm passionate about, because I've seen my grandparents and my family have had family businesses, and I've seen what that looks like. And that's not how to, like, nobody needs that. Like, there's other ways we can do this. And talking about business at the dinner table, not always a great thing. I grew up that way. It's not always great for relationships and stuff, but it's what we did. And find time to not talk about work and just be with your family and your loved ones, people. I mean, that's where it's at.
Oh, love this. Love this. Thank you so much. Friends, stay tuned and wait till what Becky says at the end may completely shift something deep inside of you. So then let me ask you this, Becky. Now that we're talking about this. So my actually life motto is it's all in your hands. What does it mean for you?
Okay, it's all in your hands, right? What does that mean to me? It means I have the power to control my life, the things that I need to do to be able to provide for my family, provide for my friends, serve my clients well. So, all in my hands, meaning there's only a couple things we can control in life. So at Southwestern Consulting, we tell our clients, control the controllables. And there's only two things we can control in our life. It's our activities and our attitude. So if I can control the things that I know that's going to help me grow my business every day, and if I control my attitude and the way I think and staying positive, that's it. That's what's in my hands. It's those two things. Everything else I can influence, or I have to accept because it's a rule, a regulation, government. But the things that I can control are my activities and my attitude. That's what's in my hands mean for me.
Oh, love
Control,
that. Love.
control the controllables.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Well, this is amazing, phenomenal. We are getting towards the end, but there is something I actually want to ask some few more questions. So these are just going to be like rapid fire questions, like short answers. Are you on for it? These are like going to be deep, hard questions.
Let's do this. I like it. Okay.
All right, let's do this. So what's your current guilty pleasure that actually brings you joy?
So right now, I love a great glass of Pinot Noir at 8 o'clock at night before we all go to bed. So that is my guilty pleasure right now, because I get to sit outside in the hot sun in the evening and just chill out with my husband.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay. So, what's one thing you used to believe about yourself that you no longer do?
Mm. I used to believe that I wasn't enough, but now I know I am enough, and God has made me enough.
Oh, love that. Yes. Ocean or forest? Where do you feel most like yourself?
Ocean baby, give me the beach.
What's a boundary that changed your life?
A boundary that changed my
Yeah.
life? Hmm. When I had bariatric surgery and lost 160 pounds, that changed my life.
Wow. Okay. A song that always lifts your mood.
I love rock and roll by Joan Jett.
Okay. Thank you. A part of your life you are still learning to love.
A part of my life that I'm still learning to love or yearning to love.
You still learning to love.
Hmm. I want to keep traveling more. So
Okay. All right. Love that. What's a word that makes you feel powerful?
grace.
Love that. If your intuition had a voice, what would it sound like?
A European accent.
What's one thing that you wish every woman knew?
That no matter what, you are loved and you deserve everything you want.
Oh, that's so powerful. I love that. Love that. Okay, so coffee, cacao, or tea?
Coffee.
So you're a coffee girl. Okay.
I am a coffee girl all day long. Yep.
Who do you become when no one is watching?
Somebody absolutely finding fun in everything she does.
Oh, phenomenal, phenomenal. Wow. All right. I love that. I absolutely love this. So, what are some last words of wisdom that you would like to share with our viewers?
I would say my words of wisdom is you do you. Find the controllables in your life. Stay on track, stay on target, stay, good with your time management. And if you can do those things, you're going to be less stressed and have more time to do the things that you love in life and spend it with the people that you want to spend it with because that's what life was made for. We were made to have fun, to have joy with others, not to spend it at work. I think a lot of Europeans have it right. I like the Italy and the Spanish model where live life. That's what we're made to do. Yes, we need to work and make the income and make the money and grow our business, but make sure you've got balance. Meaning, make sure you're spending time with doing and spending time with people that you love.
Oh, I love this. What a great advice. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. And a massive thank you to our viewers. And Becky, this was amazing. For you, amazing. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for being transparent and sharing all this wisdom, the worlds of wisdom, all your knowledge. And if this episode moved you, please share it with others. And follow us for more insights and more valuable conversations. And remember, escaping the matrix isn't just a one-time event. It's a daily act of choosing your truth over the noise. And keep choosing the truth. And remember, financial freedom and your life is all in your hands.